Mike Malott versus Charles Radke added to UFC 315. That's May 10th at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. It's a good fight. Malott is coming off a win over Trevin Giles. He's a little bit less aggressive in that fight than he normally was because he was coming off a fight where he gassed out against Neil Magny. And Charles Radke's coming off a win over Matthew Semmelsberger. This will be a good fight, good striking fight. Both guys have some pretty serious power, and Radke showed some crazy power in his last couple wins in the UFC, knocking out Gilbert Urbina with a left hook in the first round, and in his last fight, he knocked out Semmelsberger in just 51 seconds after swarming him with punches. Natalia Silva is on the card against Alexa Grasso. There's also a women's fight in the co-main event. That's Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot for the flyweight title. And the main event is Bilal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov for the welterweight belt. Diego Lopez says the UFC no longer allows champions to move up a weight class without vacating their title. If you want to move up, you have to vacate your title. That's what he tells ESPN. This is what the UFC said to all champions. So that's why Topuria vacated his belt when he moved up to 155 now. It works in the favor of Diego Lopez. He gets the title shot for the undisputed title against Volkanovski April 12th at UFC 314 in Miami, Florida. Movsar Evloev also has some interest in fighting at 155. He tells the UFC 145, 155, anyone. But it doesn't make sense for him to move out to 155 now. He should stay at 145. With Topuria leaving the division and Holloway leaving the division, Movsar is now the number 3 guy in the whole weight class because you got Volkanovski, Lopez, and then Evloev. So he's right there for a title shot. If Volkanovski wins, that's a fresh matchup for Volkanovski fighting Evloev. If Diego Lopez wins, he would want revenge against Evloev because Evloev won a decision over him. So Evloev should stay put and get a title shot. Also in the featherweight division, Patricio Pitbull is a new challenger. He's going to be taking on number 5, Yair Rodriguez at UFC 314 in April. So Pitbull says he was offered to fight Aljamain Sterling, but Aljamain Sterling rejected that fight. But now he has a better opportunity because Yair Rodriguez is 4 spots ahead of Sterling, so he could be in the top 5 in his UFC debut if he can get the win in April. It's time to conquer a new crown, UFC featherweights. Your future king has arrived, is what Pitbull says. Pitbull is one of the greatest fighters in Bellator history. We'll see how that translates into the UFC. That UFC 314 card has added a middleweight contest between Tresean Gore and Marco Tulio. Gore's 5-2, Tulio 13-1. Tulio's a knockout artist. Gore has won his last 3 via submission. This is the 13th fight on UFC 314. They will add 1 more to make it 14. Money Moicano says, Topuria is not fighting Islam. Otherwise, they would have announced it already. Imagine if he's hunting Max Holloway down at 155. Former UFC fighter Jake Hadley joins the PFL. He's going to be in their bantamweight tournament. Some of the other guys are Higo, Magomedov Taleb, Hamidov, Kasimov, Clark, and Ruiz.
DDP has been a savage trash talker from back in the day. It's more so if you fire shots at him, he has a nuclear bomb waiting to be launched. As in this clip where his opponent calls him his son.
He's my son at the end of the day.
Well, maybe you can give me some attention. I watched that countdown show. Obviously, your own son hasn't been getting too much attention.
What?
Your own son hasn't been getting too much attention, so maybe you can give me some attention.
Talk again. Say that again.
I just did.
You just
I
did
said, maybe you can be a better daddy to me than to your own son. That would be great.
I thought you had a girlfriend. I thought your sister was in rehab. Huh? Didn't your dad leave? You were at a funeral the other day. What was that about? Hmm? People dying in your life? I thought you lost everything dear to you. Aren't you on unemployment? Did your car break down? How is Rudy the dog? Dead? Probably in this case would be a. I don't know. But you had no friends. Guess we're all thinking stuff, huh?
Tough cut for Javid Bashrat to 135. He takes on Ricky Simone, who will have home state fans behind him, but he is a slight underdog against Bashrat. It wasn't easy for Anthony Hernandez, but he made the 186-pound limit for the middleweight division for his fight with Brendan Allen. He made the weight with just 4 minutes left to weigh in, so obviously not an easy cut for him. He had to take off all his clothes to make weight. This is a rematch. from LFA in 2018. That was a 5-rounder. This will be 3 co-main event. Ibo Aslan is locked in, wearing his gloves at the media day. So he's locked in for his fight with Kutalaba. Aslan has a lot of fast KOs. Wild striker who gets a lot of knockouts. Kutalaba's kind of toned down his approach a little bit. He was a complete wild man too before, but he'll probably look to get takedowns in this fight and avoid getting knocked out.
Martin Bakole is stepping into the ring this Saturday to face Joseph Parker in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's a wild turn of events. Daniel Dubois was supposed to defend his IBF heavyweight title against Parker, but he dropped out due to illness on Thursday. Bakole, with just 2 days' notice, took the call and hopped on a plane from the Democratic Republic of Congo, over 3,000 kilometers away, to seize the moment.
We're coming. Sadia, one more flight.
Hey guys, so I have some unfortunate news. I'm no longer able to do my match on March 6th on UFC Fight Pass against Adele. It's really frustrating. I sustained an injury last week to my shoulder, so I'm out of action for the next few weeks. I'm frustrated, I'm sad, and obviously I'd like to extend my apologies to the UFC and to my opponent, as I'm sure it's frustrating for her as well. But I hope to be back in action in May, as the injury doesn't require surgery or anything like that. I hope. It doesn't seem that way right now. So I just need to rehab and get focused on getting healthy and recovered. So again, thank you to everyone who supported me, and I hope to get a match in as soon as possible.
Bryce by Heilhook. Bryce Mitchell takes on Israeli prospect Eli Barzilai next week at Karate Combat's Pit Submission Series in Denver, Colorado. It's a grappling match. It's personal to Barzilai because he didn't like comments that Bryce Mitchell made on his Arkansanity podcast. Corey Sandhagen changing his fight style cost him a big fight with O'Malley. Sandhagen takes on Davison Figueiredo in the main event of UFC Des Moines, Iowa. That fight night card on May 3rd. Topuria hits pound for pound heavier than anyone in the UFC. Hopefully you can test that against the pound for pound #1 Makhachev in the summer. UFC 316 should have been in Austin. Austin 316. UFC 316 is expected to be at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The UFC spent, well, actually, the state of New Jersey gave the UFC $3.5 million a couple of years ago to bring a pay-per-view there. Last year, they spent $5 million, giving the UFC $5 million in site fees to bring a pay-per-view there. Makhachev versus Poirier. So it's a big money-making venture for the UFC to venture to New Jersey. That's why UFC 316 will be in Newark in June.
This is a higher peak elevation tent. This tent mimics me fighting or just getting used to and acclimating to the elevation in which I'm going to be fighting at the end of next month, which is March 29th. So next is the higher peak machine. Right here. You just press this button on here, and then it obviously transfers the oxygen from higher peak. Check it out. It's definitely something that can be a game changer.